Okay, Wednesday night yoga. Now, I just sent out the link and I did put on that there's no class on Wednesday the 11th, Wednesday the 18th. I will be gone. I'll be in Spain, and then we'll have one more Wednesday class on the 25th. So let me get you my reading tonight. It says, happiness is about living in the moment and appreciating the smallest things, surrounding yourself with things that inspire you, and letting go of the obsessions that want to take over your mind. It is a daily struggle sometimes and hard work, but happiness begins with your own attitude and how you look at the world. So it's so true. Attitude is the one of the biggest parts of life. You know, they say that two people could have worked in a job for 20 years and the business closes and they both get laid off. And the way one person looks at it is negative. Their world's over. The place is an awful place for letting them go. The other person says, wow, now I can do something different. The world's my oyster. Let me see what I want to do. So it's that attitude, right? And happiness is about living in the moment and letting go of things that take over your mind. So it's always easier said than done to let go of those kind of thoughts that just worry you or take over your mind, or you keep thinking and ruminating on. But once you can get to that point where you just let it go, happiness starts to come in, right? You're making some room for happiness. So let's get started on our back. We're going to do a nice relaxing class. We're going to put some low back stuff in there and a nice stretch, all over stretch. So once you get down on your back, make any little adjustments to get a little more comfortable, maybe, depending on how your back is feeling. If your low back's bothering you, you might try knees bent or constructive rest, where the knees are bent and the feet are a little wide and the knees rest in towards each other. That helps to open up the low back. And just with the knees bent, that helps to soften the muscles of the back. You know, if you ever go for a massage, they'll usually put a little bolster under your knees when you're lying on your back, because that just helps to decompress the low back. It helps to kind of put a nice healthy curve. So we want that little curve in the low back. We want that little curve in the waistline. We want a curve in the neck. So the spine has, the neck and the spine has S curves, right? So kind of curves in and curves out, curves in, curves back out. Just adjust your upper body, a little tuck of your chin. And let's just practice our breathing. We're going to breathe in happiness, kind of like to go along with our reading, and breathe out stress. Inhale happiness. Exhale stress. So stress comes in all shapes and forms and sizes. And sometimes I believe that people are chronically stressed by little things. They become so used to it that they don't realize they're stressed, right? Oh, no, I'm fine. Nothing's stressing me about. But yet their mind is constantly going, these things, they're little things in the back of their mind that add up to big things. So we let go of things that are out of our control. We let go of things that are in the past. We let go of worrying about the future. Does not mean you can't plan for the future. Now we can still plan for the future, but we're not going to be too worried about it, because usually things work out better than we ever could have planned for. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Exhale, feel the belly fall. So the breath is a beautiful way to lower your blood pressure, slow down the heart rate, relax the muscles, relax the mind. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. So a cleansing breath is going to be a slow inhale through the nose. We're going to hold on to it briefly, and then an exhale through an open mouth. You're like sighing it out. Let's start with an inhale through the nose. Hold it, sigh it out. Inhale through the nose. Hold it, sigh it out. Inhale, hold, exhale. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. If your legs are stretched out, one at a time, bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat. Then one at a time, hug the knees into the chest. Let's start to roll the whole back body side to side. Upper back, mid back, low back. So here's where you fine tune it to what your body needs. You can go just a little side to side. You can go further, rolling onto the outside of the hip, outside of the shoulder. You can go slow. You can go faster. And then see if you want the knees hugged in close or further away, or kind of vary it. You can move them kind of in and out. Let's bring the knees to center. Use your core. Feet come down to the mat. They can always come down one at a time. Stretch just your right foot up to the sky. We'll warm up this foot and ankle. We're going to circle the right ankle in one direction. So we let our toes move around, trying to get all the muscles and joints in the foot working, loosened up. Circle in the opposite direction. Working the ankle joint. Point and flex the right foot. Keep your right foot flexed. Exhale, hug the right knee into the chest. Tuck your chin, relax your shoulders. Let's stretch the left leg out on the mat. Now, when you stretch that left leg out, if it doesn't feel good to your low back, just keep the left knee bent, left foot on the floor. Because what we're really looking for is just this compression on the right side of the belly. Stretching out the left leg just kind of opens that hip and thigh a little bit. But really, this is opposed to work that right side of the belly, the ascending colon. So big, slow inhales and exhales. Keep the shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, eyes relaxed. We're going to go into a twist from here. So if that left knee is bent, stretch it out. Keep your left hand on the right knee, right arm at your side, palm is up. Inhale, with your exhale, take the right knee over to the left. You might move your shoulders to the left, the upper body to the left. That'll help that right shoulder stay on the mat. Or you can just not twist as much. You can bring your right knee higher. Doesn't have to go as far over, because we do want the right shoulder on the mat. We want the chest open towards the ceiling. The twist is from the waist. Take those big breaths into the belly. And wherever you feel the stretch in this pose, just bring your breath there. Let the breath kind of imagine the breath moving to that part of the body, either your inhale or your exhale. I usually imagine the exhale moving to the part where I'm feeling the most. But for you, it might feel like you can feel it better on the inhale. Nice and slow, let's bring our right knee back up. Keep your left leg stretched out, but bring your right foot to the floor. Now adjust hips and shoulders, get even. We're going to go into tree pose on our back. So your left foot is flexed, left toes point up towards the ceiling, and we'll open the right knee out to the right. Slide your right foot, the bottom of your right foot over until it touches the left leg. We're going to let that right hip open. You could always put a block under your outer right thigh if that feels better to your hip. Just a little support on the outer right thigh. Let's bring both arms up overhead, palms face the sky. Spread your fingers and just stretch evenly and equally through both hands, all 10 fingers. Push and lengthen through the left leg, down through the left foot, especially through your left heel. And some big, slow belly breaths. So tree pose, but on our back. We don't have to balance here, but we can still get that length in tree pose. We can still get the opening on the hip, the knee side where the knee's bent, that hip. Let's bring our arms down by our side and then bring your right knee up, your right foot to the floor, and then bend your left knee, left foot to the floor. Adjust your hips and shoulders and then rock the hips side to side, few times rocking side to side. Bring the knees to center. Stretch your left foot up to the sky. We'll circle our left ankle in one direction. Let your toes move around. Trying to work all the muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints in the foot, the toes, the foot itself, the ankle. Circle in the opposite direction. Point and flex the left foot. Let's keep our left foot flexed. Exhale, hug the left knee in. Tuck the chin, relax your shoulders. You can keep your right knee bent if that feels better to your back, or stretch the right leg out. If you stretch the right leg out, right foot is flexed. We're going to take some nice, slow belly breaths here. So just concentrating on that compression on the left side of the belly. We get a little bit of opening of our right hip and thigh, stretching of the right thigh. But mainly this pose is to work on the belly. We'll take this into a twist. If the right knee's bent, stretch the leg out. Have your right hand on your left knee, left arm at your side, palm up. Inhale. With your exhale, take the left knee over to the right. So we kind of roll onto that right hip. Now you might want to shift the shoulders to the right a little bit and relax that left shoulder down on the mat. The left shoulder should be touching the mat. It shouldn't be lifted up. If it is, just bring your left knee a little higher towards the ceiling. Big, slow belly breaths. Now your neck, I usually leave mine looking straight up, but you can look over either shoulder. If you feel like you need a little stretch, you can look over either shoulder. Inhale, feel your belly expand. Exhale, feel the belly relax. And we're going to send that breath to wherever you feel the stretch from this pose in the body. You can send the breath there, either the inhale or the exhale. Just imagine it moving through the body to that part or parts. Let's inhale the left knee up, left foot to the floor. Keep your right leg stretched out, but adjust hips and shoulders. Get even on the mat. So that right leg stretched out, right toes up to the ceiling. We'll go into tree pose, open the left knee out to the left, and then we'll slide that left foot over the bottom of the foot till it touches the right leg. Now you could always put a block or pillow under that outer left thigh if you want a little support. We're going to stretch both arms up overhead, palms face the sky, spread your fingers. We're going to reach through all 10 fingers, lengthen from your right hip all the way down through the right foot, especially through that right heel. Take some nice belly breaths. So here my waistline is kind of lifting up off the floor. It's not pressing down. I'm not trying to lift it, but there's no compression. I'm not trying to press my waistline down here. I'm just taking a nice big stretch. You can soften the belly, right? Try not to let it puff up or tense up. We'll come out of it. We'll bring the arms down by your side. We'll bring the left foot to the floor. So left knee comes up and then slide that right leg in, right foot to the floor. Adjust hips and shoulders and rock the hips a little side to side. Sometimes when you adjust hips and shoulders, you might lift up your hips and lengthen the spine. You might lift up your shoulders. You might even just adjust the clothing. Sometimes it gets a little in the way. So you might just loosen up, readjust the clothing. Let's bring the knees to center. One more time, one at a time, hug the knees into the chest. We're going to roll side to side again. So just working on that whole back body. Upper back, mid back, low back. Let's bring the knees to center. Hands on the knees, and we're going to circle both knees in one direction. So a little circular massage for our low back. Notice if there's any spots that are a little tight or tender. And then just be careful tonight with those spots. Let's take both knees in the opposite direction. Bring the knees to center. Use your core. Feet come down to the mat. They can come down one at a time. Let's go into a pelvic tilt. Our knees stack over our heels, feet hip width apart, arms at your side, palms up. Inhale, lift your waistline off the mat. Exhale, press the waistline down into the mat. So just a slow rocking of the hips and pelvis forward and back with your breath. The breath is nice and slow. The movement matches the breath, nice and slow. Okay, take this into a bridge pose. The next time your waistline presses down, keep it pressing down, and inhale, lift your hips up. And we're going to exhale and lower the hips down. So let's just do that a few times. We're going to inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower the hips. So you're lifting one vertebra at a time. You're lowering one vertebra at a time. So when we lift, we don't lift the waistline first. When we lower, we don't lower the bottom first. Remember thinking of that spine like a string of beads. Next time the hips are down, keep them down and hug the knees into the chest. Roll side to side. We're going to combine that bridge pose with this hugging the knees into the chest. Okay, so use your core, lower your feet back down to the mat. Good. We're going to inhale with your exhale, press your waistline down. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, and then with your exhale, hug the knees in. Lower the feet back down. That's going to be our movement. Okay, we're going to lift our hips. We're going to lower our hips. We're going to hug the knees in. We're going to lower the feet down. So that's it. Lift your hips into bridge. Lower the hips. Hug the knees in. Lower the feet back down. When you lower the feet down, use your core. Lift your hips. Lower your hips. Hug the knees in. Use your core. Put the feet down. Lift the hips. Lower the hips. Hug the knees in. Use your core. Feet come down. Don't let the waistline lift. 2 more. Lift your hips. Lower your hips. Hug the knees in. Use your core. Bring the feet down. Last one. Lift the hips. Lower the hips. Hug the knees in. Use your core. Set the feet down. Good. Now with the feet down one at a time, stretch the legs out. Let the legs completely relax. Front of the hips open. Back of the knees open. Arms at your side, palms up. Just a few breaths here. Let the body relax. Let the nervous system relax. Let's wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes. We'll take a full body stretch. Stretch the arms up overhead, palms face the sky, spread the fingers. Point the toes away from you. And now we will press our waistline down into the mat. Pull the belly muscles down slightly, but not so much that you can't breathe. So we're just activating the core, pressing the waistline down, pulling the belly down, but stretching through both hands, both feet. The toes point away from you. Some nice even breaths. Let's flex our feet. Can let the waistline relax. It lifts up a little bit. Stretch one side longer, the other side longer. Now, as you're doing this, if one side feels a little tighter, then I suggest spending a little bit longer time stretching that side. If you feel pretty even, then you can go with an even side-to-side stretch. But a lot of times, one side is stiffer. One shoulder, one hip, one side of the back. Bring arms and legs to center. Arms come down by your side. Good. Let's bend our knees. And let's roll onto our side. Come up to sitting. We'll come into table pose, hands and knees. Grab a little padding for your knees if you need a little extra cushion. We're going to go into cat-cow. So you can be on your elbows if that feels better. Your elbows will be under your shoulders. If you're on your hands, wrists under your shoulders. Fingers spread, index fingers parallel. Let's go into our cat-cow. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, arch your spine. Exhale, rounding, tuck the chin, spread the shoulder blades. Inhale, stretch the belly, long neck, shoulder blades squeeze together. So cat-cow is very good for the body. Your arms get work because you're holding up your upper body. They get a little bit of work. Your neck, your shoulders, upper back, core, low back, hips, legs get a little bit of work. Come to neutral, shift back into child's pose. Big toes barely touching. Let your knees separate apart. Let your forehead rest and just stretch out the upper back. From child's pose, let's take an extended child's pose with a side stretch. So stretch the hands as far forward as you'll go. Pick up your head, look at the hands. Your elbows are off the mat. Start to walk the hands over to the right, off the mat. And then tuck the chin so your head's in between your arms. Keep your forehead off the mat and lean over to the left. So getting a good stretch on that left side, left shoulder, left armpit, left rib cage, and we'll tuck the left heel or the left hip down towards our left heel just a little bit. Isometric. Breathe into the belly. Pick up the head, look at the hands. We'll walk our hands back to the center. Keep walking them over to the left, off the mat. Tuck the chin, head right in between the arms, forehead off the mat, lean right. Feel that good stretch on your right side and a little tuck of your right hip down towards your right heel as you breathe. Breathe into the belly. Good. Pick up your head, look at the hands. We'll walk the hands back to center. Keep the hands stretched forward, elbows up off the mat. We'll go into a downward dog. So come up into your hands and knees. You can walk the knees a little closer together. Fingers spread wide. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back. Spread the toes out on the mat. Let's walk it out. Just give the back of the legs a good stretch. The arches a good stretch. Back of the neck long. Hug the belly in a little bit. Bring the heels level with each other. We're going to come down to knees. We'll shift back into child's pose. Let your forehead rest. Maybe wobble hips and shoulders a little side to side. Or maybe just stay centered if that feels better to your back. Good. Let's lower, come up to hands and knees table. Let's lower all the way down onto our belly. So come all the way down onto your belly. Let's rest your forehead on stacked hands. We'll just take a few breaths here into the belly. So when we inhale, belly presses into the floor. When we exhale, the belly relaxes. So on the inhale, you might feel the body kind of lift up or rise a little because the belly's pressing into the floor. And on your exhale, you might feel the body kind of sink down a little bit because the belly and the chest are deflating from that air being in them. So as you breathe here on your belly, this is really, it's really good work for the abdominal organs. They're getting a little massage just from you lying on the belly and taking big abdominal breaths. Now let's work our core a little bit. So we're going to stay on our belly. Firm up your legs. So your knees will lift up a little bit off the mat. And then I want you to pull your belly just up away from the floor. Your belly's not going to lift off the floor, but you're just trying to pull it away from the floor. But you want to still breathe. So the legs are engaged, the glutes are engaged, the core's engaged. And then relax the belly. So not only does the belly relax, but the glutes, the legs relax as well. Now bend your knees, let your toes just kind of point naturally up to the ceiling. Windshield wiper, both feet to the right, both feet to the left. So just kind of rocking the knees side to side. So you get a little massage for your thighs. It also helps to loosen up the low back a little bit. Bring the feet to center, lower the feet down. You can curl the toes under just to adjust the knees and then uncurl the toes. So we're gonna do that belly abdominal work one more time. So kind of firm up your legs, let your knees lift up off the mat, your glutes engage a little bit, forehead's resting down
on the back of the hands. And now pull the belly up away from the floor as much as you can. You should still be able to breathe. I'm doing it, but I'm still able to talk and breathe, but I'm activating the belly. I'm trying to pull it away from the mat. You're using your transverse abdominals here. Your glutes are engaged, your legs are engaged a little bit. And then relax the belly, relax the back, relax the glutes, the legs. Bend your knees, let the toes point up, and windshield wiper, both feet to the right, both feet to the left. Bring the feet to center, lower the feet down to the mat, curl the toes under, adjust your knees. Good. Let's take your right knee out to the right, kind of at a 90-degree angle. And you can just let your forehead rest on your stacked hands. So that right knee out to the right, your right knee kind of in line with your right hip or lower. If you can't get it that high, that's fine. Take your left toes, curl them under on the mat, and push the left heel away from you. Your left knee should lift up off the mat. So a big stretch for your left hip and thigh, and then a stretch for that right thigh and right hip because that right knee's out to the right. Breathe into your belly. So when we inhale, we can feel the belly press into the floor. When we exhale, the belly relaxes. Let's uncurl the left toes. And we're going to slide that right leg back. So bring that right leg down by your right. Walk the toes in a little bit. And then take the left knee out to the left. Try to maybe get that left knee in line with the left hip, but if it doesn't go in that 90-degree angle, that's okay. Right toes curl under on the mat, and you're going to push the right heel away from you so that the right knee lifts up off the floor as you take some big belly breaths. So good stretch on the right arch, the right leg, right hip, and then that left knee out to the side. We'll work that left thigh, left hip. Uncurl the right toes, and then slide that left leg back in and down. Good. Let's come up to elbows for Sphinx pose. So prop yourself up onto your elbows. Your elbows are under your shoulders. Your wrists are in line with your elbows. So your arms are in a 90-degree angle. Here we kind of pretty much keep the legs and glutes relaxed. The neck is long. Press your palms into the mat, your forearms into the mat, your elbows into the mat, and isometrically draw the arms back towards your hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and lengthen your neck. So you kind of feel a stretch in the belly a little bit. Shoulder blades squeezing together, elbows pushing down and pulling back. Legs and glutes pretty relaxed. And then we're going to exhale, relax that. Elbows go out to the side, restack your hands, rest your forehead on stacked hands. Curl your toes under on the mat, push the heels away, let your knees lift up off the floor. Couple breaths. Uncurl the toes, tops of the feet on the floor. Let's stretch our arms out in front of us in a V position. Palms are down. And then widen your feet, kind of legs into a V position. So your feet are about as wide as the mat. Forehead's down on the mat. Or the head can just hover above the mat. We're going to do a crossbody stretch. So lift your right arm and your left leg. Left toes point. So reach through right fingertips and point through the left foot and breathe. Crossbody stretch. My head's a little lifted up off the mat here, but my neck is still long. Let's lower right arm, left leg. Take a breath, and then other side. Left arm lifts, right leg lifts. Point the right toes. Reach through the left fingers, point through the right toes, breathe. Good. Lower them down. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on stacked hands. Curl the toes under, push the heels away from you. Keep your feet wide like they were for that in that V position. And then uncurl the toes. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Feet wide like a V. One more time, stretch your hands forward. We're going to lift both arms, both legs. Lift your head a little bit off the mat, reaching through both hands, pointing through both toes. Breathe and then exhale, lower down. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on stacked hands. One last time, curl your toes under, push the heels away from you, knees lift up off the floor. So it's sometimes called Superman pose. It's strengthening for your back. Uncurl the toes. Let's slide the hands under the shoulders. Lift yourself up into hands and knees. Table. Once you're in table pose, let's round and arch one time, and then take some free-form movement. Some small movement to the neck, maybe turning the head side to side, or maybe looking a little back and a little forward. Just make sure the movement for the neck is nice and slow. And then shift back into child's pose. A few breaths there. Just let the whole back body stretch out. Upper back, mid back, and ribs and low back. Good. Let's come up to sitting. We're going to swing the feet around. So if you had padding there, scoot it off to the side. Swing the feet around. We'll do some seated cat breaths. So our knees are bent, feet on the floor, hands on the knees. We'll inhale, sit tall, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift your heart. You've got a little arch in the low back. And now exhale, start to lean back. Arms go straight, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, sit tall, lift the heart. Exhale, lean back and round. So just moving your body in these two opposite directions, or shapes, I should say. Next time you're sitting tall, stay tall. We're going to go into a seated twist. So stretch your left leg out on the mat. Left foot is flexed. We'll hug that right knee in. Your left hand will hold your right knee, and your right arm comes behind you or beside you. And it's going to push into the floor. So inhale, press that right hand into the floor to lengthen your spine. And exhale, turn to the right. We're going to hug that right thigh into the belly. So each inhale, you're trying to length in your spine. And each exhale, you try to relax the body a little bit. Where are you holding tension? The shoulders, the back itself, the hips. We want to inhale and let that right side of the belly press into the right thigh. Inhale and come forward. We'll switch sides. So right leg's going to stretch out. Left knee bends, left foot comes in. We're going to have the right hand on the left knee, the left arm beside you or behind you, right foot flexed. We're going to sit facing our right foot. Inhale, press the left hand into the floor, lengthen your spine. Exhale and turn to your left. We're going to hug that left thigh into the belly. And we're going to take those big belly breaths. So each inhale, try to lengthen from your sitting bones all the way up the spine through the neck. And on the exhale, try to relax a little bit more into the pose. So we're holding a tension in the pose, but we're not holding tension, right? So we're activating, lengthening, but also trying to relax into the pose. It's a fine balance, right? We're
We're holding a pose, but trying to relax into it at the same time. Let's come out of it. Inhale, come forward, stretch that left leg out. Lean back on your hands, separate the feet a little bit, and windshield wiper the feet. Just kind of shake out your legs. Let's grab one yoga block. We're going to come all the way down onto our back. Once you're on your back, just have the block handy, but hug the knees into the chest and roll side to side. So bringing that weight of the body onto the back as we roll. That just helps our muscles to get a little massage. The floor helps us there. Bring the knees to center. Use your core. Feet come down to the mat. We take our block in the most narrow setting and put it between the knees or thighs. And we're just going to lightly squeeze the block with the knees and thighs. Try to keep your belly relaxed, shoulders, arms relaxed. Just kind of the legs and hips are getting work here. And then relax that squeeze. Keep the block there, but just relax the squeeze. We're going to do that 2 more times. Let's squeeze the block with the knees and thighs. Try to keep the rest of the body relaxed as you breathe. And then relax that squeeze. Keep the block there. Couple breaths. And one last one. Squeeze the block with the knees or thighs. Feel that go into the hips, a little into the glutes. We're not trying to squeeze the glutes, but you're going to feel a little bit of that isometric in your glutes. Breathe, belly relaxed. And then relax the squeeze. Let's take the block out, set it aside. One at a time, hug the knees into the chest. Hands on the knees. We're going to inhale, move the knees away an arm's length. So arms are straight. Exhale, hug them in. So kind of compress the belly. Inhale, knees move away. Exhale, knees move in. This pose is called Apanasana. It's a good one for low back. It's a good one for digestion. So the feet don't really move away, just the knees move away. We're not stretching. When the knees move away, we're not stretching the feet away. Inhale when the knees move away, and exhale when they come in. So a complete exhale. Squeeze out all that used up air. And inhale, bring in a fresh breath. Next time your knees are away from you, use your core and lower the feet to the floor. They can come down one at a time. Then one at a time, stretch your legs out. Let your legs and hips relax. Take that block and hold it in between our hands. In the widest setting, we'll lift it up over our chest. And let's start, inhale, and then with your exhale, lower the block towards the floor overhead, any amount. Exhale, lift the block back up over your chest. Inhale, lower the block towards the floor. Exhale, lift the block over your chest. So you're going slow. Don't use momentum. Your breath is slow, and so this movement of the arms is slow. Take one more where we lower the block towards the floor. One more where we lift it over the chest. And then once it's over your chest, we're going to circle it clockwise. So clockwise circle or oval, any size, any speed. You're just trying to work the upper back, shoulders, chest. Turn that into a clockwise
square, or rectangle. Any size. Nice, even breaths. So this is good work for our upper back. You know, we're using the floor to get in there, to massage it, to work it. Let's go counterclockwise, square or rectangle. Now let's go counterclockwise, circle or oval. Any size. Bring the block to center and then lower it down to the floor. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat. Let's take a figure 4 pose. We're going to take our right ankle to our left thigh. Right foot flexed. We'll move the right thigh away. You can use your right hand, or it can just move away on its own resistance to our left leg. We're going to come out of that, bring your right foot down, and then left ankle to the right thigh, left foot flexed, and we'll move that left thigh away. Use your left hand or just the power of the left leg against the right. Good. We're going to come out of that, bring our left foot down. Go into cobbler's pose, bottoms of the feet together, knees open. A couple breaths here, arms out to your side in a T position, palms up. We're just letting our hips and thighs get a stretch, letting the lymph nodes in the hips open, lymph nodes in the armpit open. Try to relax every muscle. Try to hold zero tension. Bring the arms down by your side. You can bring the hands to the outer thighs and let your hands help you bring the knees together. Once the knees are together, one at a time, hug the knees into the chest. Hands on our knees. We'll circle both knees in the same direction, one direction. Just working our low back and our hips a little bit. Let's circle in the opposite direction. Bring the knees to center. Use your core. Don't let the back arch. Feet come down to the mat. They can come down one at a time. One at a time, stretch the legs out. We're going to go into, I always forget the name of it, progressive relaxation or something like that, where we tighten up different body parts and then we relax them. So we're going to keep our legs stretched out. We're going to start with the feet. So just clench the toes and try to tighten up your feet. Try to keep your legs relaxed. We're going to hold that tension in the feet, tight, tighter, tightest, then relax. Open the toes, wiggle the toes a little bit. We're going to be moving up the body. So try to keep your feet relaxed and try to just tighten up the legs. Hold tension in the legs, tight, tighter, tightest, and then relax the legs. Take a breath. Now, keep the feet relaxed, the legs relaxed. Try to just tighten up the glutes and the hips. Hold that tension in the glutes and hips. Tight, tighter, tightest, and relax. Take a breath. Whole body's relaxed, but just try to tighten up your hands. Make a fist with your hands. Try to keep the arms relaxed. They're going to tighten up a little, but focus on the fists, the hands. Hold that tension tight, tighter,
tightest, and relax. Open the fingers, wiggle the fingers. Good. Keep your hands and fingers relaxed. Try to tighten up just the arms and shoulders. Arms and shoulders. Hold that tension tight, tighter, tightest. Relax arm and shoulders. Take a breath. Now keeping the feet and the legs relaxed, hands and the arms and the shoulders relaxed. Try to tighten up your torso. Hold the tension in the torso and the belly and the chest tight, tighter, tightest. Relax. Take a breath. Whole body's relaxed. We're going to tighten up the neck and the face. So hold tension in the neck, the face, squint the eyes, squinch the nose, squinch the mouth. Hold that tension tight, tighter, tightest, and relax. Lift your eyebrows, open the jaw, move the jaw around. Take a breath. Now we're going to start at the feet. We're going to work all the way up till we got the whole body tight. We're going to hold that tension in those 3 degrees. So start with the feet, clench the toes, tighten up the feet, tighten up the legs, tighten up the glutes, make a fist with your hands, tighten up arms and shoulders, tighten up chest, belly, torso. Good. Tighten up the neck and the face, squeeze the face, bitter beer face, hold it tight, tighter, tightest. Relax, wiggle the fingers and toes, lift the eyebrows, move the jaw around. Ah, good. Let the whole body relax. So that's a good thing to do if you have trouble going to sleep, falling asleep at night. You can do that progressive relaxation, progressive tension. I always forget the name. Take a few breaths. Let everything relax. Let's take one more full body stretch, then we'll go into our final relaxation. Reach the arms up overhead, palms face the sky, spread the fingers. Let's flex the feet and just stretch one side longer, the other side longer. A little side to side stretch. Nice even breaths as you stretch the body. The right side, the left side, the front side, the back side. Bring everything to center, arms and legs to center, arms come down by your side. And let's set up for our final relaxation. So see if it feels good to keep your legs stretched out. You've got lots of options for the lower body. Blanket roll or bolster under your knees, blocks under your thighs, cobbler's pose, constructive rest, knees bent, knees falling in on each other, feet a little wide. You could put your feet up on a chair or ottoman or cushion or up the wall. And then get the upper body nice and comfortable. Little tuck of the chin. We're always trying to keep that neck nice and long. Start to feel the breath. Let the breath come into the low belly. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. We sometimes underestimate the power of our breath to relax the body, to let go of worries, lower our blood pressure. The body knows instinctively to sigh when you've just been through something or you're just finished something a little taxing or a little worrisome. The body knows how to turn that pressure cooker valve and release tension. The body will sigh naturally. So use your breath as a tool. It's helpful when we're in pain. We forget to use the breath as a tool when we're in pain. But it's helpful. But it's, remember they used to teach that Lamaze breathing for childbirth. Yeah, the breath is a tool. We just have to remember to use it. Or, waiting, if you're going into surgery, you're in a doctor's office, using the breath as a tool. Longer exhales, is going to relax the body. It's proven. Science now proves what yoga knew. Longer exhales turns on our relaxation response. We just have to remember to do it. So let's get our reading one more time. Happiness is about living in the moment and appreciating the smallest things, surrounding yourself with the things that inspire you, and letting go of the obsessions that want to take over your mind. It is a daily struggle sometimes and hard work, but happiness begins with your own attitude and how you look at the world. So as we're in this spinal relaxation, look at the world positive. That's very hard to do. But I do believe that there's more good and positive in the world than there is bad and negative. We just hear more about the negative and the bad. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Exhale, feel the belly fall. Silently repeating to yourself, all is well. All is well. All is well. Take a nice full inhale, nice complete exhale. Bring some movement to your body, maybe a big stretch, maybe knees into the chest, maybe a little twist. When you're ready, make your way up to sitting. Sit tall, tailbone moves back a little, heart lifts a little. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you. You could kneel with blocks, like in between the knees, like you're riding a horse. That's a nice way to keep the spine nice and long. We should practice that one of these days. Shoulders relax down. Spine is long. Feel the breath come into the low belly. Bring our palms together, thumbs at the heart. And this ends our class tonight. Namaste. Good. Take yourself off mute. If you got to go, give me a little wave and we'll catch up next time. But let me know how it went. Any questions? We didn't do anything particularly new tonight.
Thanks, Becky.
You're welcome, Kenny. Good luck on Thursday.
Thanks. Tomorrow morning.
Oh, it is. Tomorrow is Thursday. Use your yoga breathing.
Yeah. Well, when you said if you're going into surgery I was like, yes, I am, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Or, sometimes when you're waiting in a doctor's office, just things, where you're kind of stressed. It's like,
right.
Use that breathing. Yeah.
Yep. I will.
Reminder, I have something tomorrow too.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Good. Yeah. Use the
reminder.
breath.
Yep.
I use it at the dentist.
Oh, yes. When you're like, boy, you've got to really use your breath there.
Yep.
Take care.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Very good.
You're
Bye.
welcome. You all have a great evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday class. We'll see you on the 25th, but I know I see some of you on other days too. So,
Okay.
okay, have a great
right.
evening. All right. Thank you.
Do we still have a class on Saturday?
Saturday the 7th. Yes.
We do have the class?
Yes, Saturday the
Okay.
7th. There's no class on Saturday the 14th, but then the 21st and 20th. So I'm gone the 9th through the 18th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, we'll see you Saturday.
Yep. Good night.
Okay. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.